Hey guys, I hope you're doing well tonight. And today I'm going to tell you reason number 2 why I buy gold. And that reason is gold participation is a lot higher than back in 1970s when gold was rising. Now, in this world, we have a falling supply of gold. The production of gold is actually dropping, and there is a recent article here on Bullion Vault showing how investment in gold exploration is important to continue finding gold and developing new mines in order to increase gold production to meet the demand for gold. Now, with the markets, gold market in China and India growing very quickly, demand is surging, and this means a pressure on the price for gold to go higher. Now, there's only two. Back in 1970s, there were only two major, or the only two exchanges for gold were in the U.S. and in Western Europe. London and New York. So mainly it was Western civilizations that participated in trading gold. Now in 2017 we have the Shanghai Gold Exchange. We have India, for example. Not just a country, but all the people themselves value gold. People around the world value gold. And this has been putting an upward pressure on the price to grow up. And since the 2008 crash or financial crisis, people have realized the importance of gold when they realized later on that gold has surged in price. So they know that gold will protect them during such difficult times. Since then, there has been more services offered and established to allow and facilitate people to save in gold, transact in gold, and this is increasing the gold participation in gold ownership and use. You'll hear Warren Buffett saying and other investors with an old mindset claiming that gold has no uses because you would just buy it and store it and you're not doing anything with it. That mindset is not going to get you anywhere, because right now, first of all, gold is money and you can use it to transact. There's several uses for gold, industrial as well. But as people, we can use it to do transactions instead of using fiat currency. Over the years, that currency loses purchasing power, while gold is great as a hedge against inflation, and it can allow you, as the price goes up, to purchase more of the goods and services that you need every day. And people actually use it around the world as a wealth transfer to the next generation. And you can see here in this graph how gold production is going down. This is the reserve life, basically, in the ground, and based on production. If you looking here, Indian people hold 20,000 tons of gold, and this article is back in 2015. There's been recent reports, and actually the latest we'll see here in this article, actually right here, India is trying to cap the demand. And this is by introducing new taxes, regulations on gold. So the number 2 consumer market is India, and basically Indian households, accounting for around 1/4 of all gold buying globally over the last 5 years, so-called "you know your client" rules, have since 23rd of August required people to give their tax code ID when buying more than 50,000 rupees of gold, down from a previous floor of 200,000. The purpose of this is mainly to report to the government the gold holdings, so they can come in and try to tax you. Now, they claim that it's again to tighten anti-money laundering rules, which is ridiculous. But it's basically for them to be able to account how much gold you own and tax you on it. I can see it going to that direction. But Indian people value gold, and that gold demand will continue to rise anyway. When you put such restrictions, it doesn't deter people away from gold. It actually incentivizes people to find new ways to get around such regulations. And now we're looking at the markets for PM precious metals sold. You see there's a drop recently here, and this is because of the central banks raising interest rate. Investors panic and they start selling, mainly to cover debt and so on. But as you see here in this chart, the PM's precious metals sold is down actually, and this is because the central banks have been raising interest rates, or the recent interest rate rise. So people and investors tend to sell gold to cover their debt, to pay down their debt in order to lower the cost of having a debt and servicing your debt. Now, this is usually doesn't last very long, and you can see it's a shoulder will be starting again or happening, and what we'll see is the number of gold transactions going up. Basically, people will be buying gold. Now, you see China's gold imports increasing by 50%, and with the basically operation of the Shanghai Gold Exchange, people in China are trading their gold there that they actually hold. You see here China's gold imports seen jumping 50% as haven demand booms. With the operation of the Shanghai Gold Exchange, people can now actually trade precious metals, mainly gold, in China, rather than relying on COMEX or these exchanges in Western world that is actually suppressed. So mainland China is set to import about 1,000 metric tons from the territory in 2017. Basically, in China, there's a lot of gold mines that are being discovered, or gold reserves underground being discovered, and gold mines being built in order to dig that gold out. China values gold, and even the Chinese, because first of all, the Chinese buy gold as they are trying to protect themselves from the devaluation of the yuan. For China to continue exporting goods and services and compete against the US's new policy of America First, basically, which is devaluing the US dollar and increasing US exports, that means China has to continue devaluing its currency. If they continue to do that, what happens is hyperinflation. So in order to protect themselves, they buy gold. In China, the government is trying to explore and produce more gold in order to bring that within their reserves, in the very case that they of preventing hyperinflation by backing the yuan by gold. And this would make the US dollar fail, and we see that happening. We go down here, investment demand. You can see global investors have also increased holdings. So basically, reason number 2 here is that there's a lot more people around the world participating in gold ownership than before, and more than in 2008. This is why I really buy gold. I believe that this increased demand and participation will drive the price up at the right time when inflation kicks in the US. And this is going to happen not slowly, but very, very quickly. Inflation just kicks in, and when it does, there's no stopping it or slowing it down. A lot of countries are now selling off their reserves, currency reserves, like Algeria, to pay off debts and cover or plug gaps in their budgets, in their spending budget. And that means for example, US dollars, they're going back home. And what they're doing in Algeria is that they're going to print more of their own currency to fill these gaps, which is going to cause hyperinflation over there. But the transfer of US dollars back to the US from several countries around the world is going to cause hyperinflation in the US, along with the removal of the debt ceiling and the increased borrowing from the government. This is going to create a lot more US dollars in circulation that will force inflation to rise very quickly. So, as a hedge against inflation, it's very, very important to have gold in your possession, diversified among different vaults around the world, in order to protect yourself from possible confiscation or loss or any possible risk. I hope you guys understood what I'm trying to say in this video and realized the importance of owning gold. Regardless of what the quantity is, there's no right amount. The more the better for you. In the end, you will gain by owning gold. You cannot go wrong with owning gold. Thank you, and you have a good day.